What's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Gotta keep this intro short and sweet. In this one, we're playing a $40 bounty tournament. What are bounty tournaments? Basically what happens when you buy in is along with your chip stack, you get a bounty chip, which in this case was worth $10. And if you knock somebody out, you take their chip and then that bounty is yours. There was a little twist in this tournament though, where you only got to cash out your bounties if you made the final table. So that brought kind of like an interesting twist to the game. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps me grow the channel. We're getting really close to 100 subscribers. Can we reach it with this video? That would be awesome. Also, I'm not really sure when this video is going to come out, so it will either be tomorrow or today. But on March 18th, I am playing at Final Table, 20K guaranteed, one of my favorite tournaments to play. If you happen to be there, don't be a stranger. Come say hi. It's always cool to meet people who watch the vlog. And also, don't hesitate to check out my Instagram. Whenever I play one of these bigger tournaments, I post there. And also, I post tournament updates live as I'm playing the tournament. So if you're interested in that, check it out. All right, let's go to the action. I'll catch you guys later. Here we go. First hand we get involved in, we're in the big blind and we look down at ace deuce of spades. We see 4 players limp, and although we can make a case for raising and trying to pick up the pot, we're in the early levels of a home game where people hate to fold, so we'll gladly take a free flop. We go 5 ways to the flop, which comes 7, 10, 10, and action checks around. The turn is the ace of clubs pairing up our ace. It's the weak at ace though, so we're not going to throw a bet here, but we definitely want to get to showdown, so let's see how things develop. Action checks around to the cutoff, who leads out for 1,000. We're not quite ready to fold yet, so we make the call and the low jack comes along. 3 ways to the river, which comes the 9 of diamonds, and once again, action checks to the cutoff, who bets 2,000. We thought about this decision for a little bit. We don't really beat much on this board, but we get a little sticky and make what is honestly a pretty bad call, and the low jack folds. The cutoff shows ace deuce of diamonds, which is lucky for us, and we end up chopping. As James Hardigan and Joe Stapleton from the European Poker Tour would say, "Everyone loves a chop pot." In the following hand, we look down at ace 9 of spades under the gun, and we decide to mix things up here and raise to 1,500. Action folds around to the button, who punishes our audacity by 3-bet shoving for 9,000. We fold. A few hands later, we look down at ace-king suited in the cutoff. We see a limp from the hijack, we bump it up to 1,800, and both the big blind and the hijack call. We go 3 ways to a flop, which comes ace, 7, king, rainbow. We completely smash this board and make 2 pair. Action checks to us, and we decide to check back for deception, and also because at this point, it's hard for our opponents to have anything they're going to continue with. The turn is the ace of clubs, and we upgrade from 2 pair to a full house. The big blind leads out for 2,500, and we love to see it. The hijack folds, and while we could definitely just shove here, we're pretty confident the big blind is bluffing, so we'd rather give them another chance to bluff on the river. The river is a brick 6 of hearts. The big blind notices that we only have 3,500 left in our stack in the spot, which is now over 10,000, and they seem suspicious, and rightfully so. They check. We shove, thinking that they're priced in to call with a lot of their holdings, such as a king or maybe some middling pair like pocket 8s or pocket 9s, but they fold. This one gets a little interesting. We're at the 500, 1,000 level, and the under the gun 1 player shoves for over 30k, a massive 30 big blind shove. Action folds to us in the big blind, and because this is a home game, we decide to have fun and flip our cards before making a decision. We're expecting to flip rags, have a laugh, and move on to the next hand, except the first card we flip is the king of clubs, and the second card is the queen of diamonds, and now we have a decision to make. Now, I know what you're thinking, oh my god, you freaking nit, just snap call already, but looking at the situation more closely, if our opponent is holding an ace, we're about 42% to win. If our opponent is holding a pair under king-queen, we're about 42% to win. If our opponent is holding queens or better, we're crushed. Are they really open shoving 30 big blinds with king jack, king 10, queen jack, hands that we beat? Seems unlikely. What we also need to factor into our decision is that rebuys are over, our opponent covers us, so not only can we not win their bounties, but we could get knocked out of the tournament. If we had a smaller stack, this would be a spot to gamble it up, but with 12 big blinds, we feel like there would be better spots to put our tournament life at risk, so we fold. Our opponent shows King Jack, which is really the only hand they could have in this spot that we were crushing. If we were to be results oriented, this is obviously a horrible fold, but ultimately, I don't hate it. Things get a little bit weirder in this next hand. When we look down at ace-10 offsuit on the button, we see 3 limps before action gets to us, and with 11.5 big blinds in our stack, this is a great spot to shove and pick up the pot. We shove, and everyone folds. The player in the low jack is a friend of the vlog, and their favorite hand is ace-10, so we decide to show for fun until we realize that not everybody folded. The action is on the high jack. We make a stupid mistake here because the hijack was holding ace-8 of spades, and they would have called had we had not shown our hand, and we would have been in a great spot to double up. So hopefully you learn from my dumb mistakes, and don't show your cards until you're sure everyone has folded. Don't show your cards if you have a decision to make. Actually, you know what? Just don't ever show your cards. Alrighty, let's brush off those mistakes and let's get our head back in the game. We have 50,000 in our stack, approximately 7 big blinds, so strap your seatbelts because there's about to be a whole lot of shove. Here we pick up ace-queen in the cutoff, we see a limp from the hijack, and this is a perfect spot for us to get it all in. That's what we do, everybody folds, and we chip up to 20,000. In the following hand, no, you're not experiencing deja vu. We pick up ace-queen with the same suits, and we're under the gun. We have 10 bigs, we shove. Action folds around to the small blind who calls. We have them covered, and they have $40 in bounties. They show pocket 10s, it's a classic flip. We haven't done really well in flips where we needed to hit recently, so let's see if we can turn things around. Boom! We hit a queen on the rainbow flop. Now all we need to do is dodge a 10, 5 on the turn, 3 on the river. Wow, we get an almost full double up and we pick up $40 in bounties. They're worth nothing at the moment though, as we need to reach the final table to be able to cash them. So let's keep chipping up and surviving. In the next hand, we look down at ace-6 offsuit in the small blind. We see a limp from the button. This player has been limping a lot of hands, so they're probably not very strong in this spot. And the player in the big blind is a pretty tight player, so this looks like a perfect spot to shove and pick up some dead chips. We shove our 9 big blind stack, and both players fold. Nice to chip up here. A few players have busted, and we are now at the final table, which means we can now cash our bounties. So we have $40 locked up. We already got our buy-in for the tournament back, so we're basically free rolling at this point. Here, we look down at ace-queen once again with 9 bigs in our stack. It's a standard shove, everybody folds, and we pick up some much needed chips. We started the final table 10-handed. There are now 8 players left, and 4 get paid. In this next hand, we get a little upgrade from ace-queen and look down at a beautiful ace-king suited under the gun. We have 6 big blinds at this stage of the tournament, which we happily stick in the middle. Action folds around to the cutoff who calls, and they have us covered. Our tournament life is at risk. They show ace-10, so we're in a great spot to double up. Let's go to a showdown. The flop comes 3-5-4 with 2 hearts. We're not loving it, as now a deuce would chop the pot and more hearts could give our opponent a flush draw. The hand is all but over as we bink a king on the turn. We still have to dodge a deuce for the split, which would be a disastrous result at this point. The river is the 6 of hearts, giving us the full double up. Let's go. We double up, but we're not quite out of the woods yet as blinds keep increasing, and by the time we pick up another hand, we're down to 6.5 big blinds. We now look down at ace-jack suited in the cutoff. Action folds to us. We open shove. Everybody folds. We chip up. The very next hand, we peel pocket 8s as the under the gun player limps. With 8 big blinds in our stack, we have a great opportunity to pick up some chips, so we shove, and everybody folds. We chip up again to about 10 big blinds. At this point in the tournament, there are 5 players left and 4 get paid, so we're on the stone cold bubble. This is a friendly home game, so we typically take a little bit out of each paid spot to at least give the bubble their buy-in back, so we're now officially in the money. That's 2 cashes in a row for us. We're happy, but we don't want to settle for a min cash this time. We want to play for the win. Let's go. In this hand, we look down at king 5 offsuit in the big blind. There's a limp from the button. The small blind completes, and we're happy to see a flop for free. The flop is 4-6 ace with 2 clubs, and action checks around. The turn is the 9 of diamonds, and action checks around once again. When the river comes to 7 of spades and we're first to act, we're thinking that we could really use the 30,000 chips in the middle. The table saw us fold king queen earlier in the evening, and our image is generally one of a nit. We decide it's time to capitalize on that image and do something a little out of character. We bet out 15,000. Oh shit! Shout out if you know what show this scene was from. We bet out and we love to see both our opponents fold, and we increase our stack by almost 50%. There are now 4 players left in the tournament, and we have about $100 locked up on top of the $40 in bounties. We look down at ace-8 offsuit on the button, and there is no small blind this hand as the player got knocked out the hand before, so the big blind is what we call big alone. A perfect spot for us to attack their blind with our ace, so we shove, and they fold, and we chip up some more. In the following hand, we look down at pocket 5s in the cutoff, and action folds to us. We have a pair, we have 9 big blinds, we have an easy shove. Everybody folds, and we take down the pot. In the following hand, we upgrade our pair to pocket 8s under the gun. 10 big blinds in our stack, we once again have a standard shove. We put our chips in the middle, everyone folds, and we take down another pot. It is so nice to hit a good run of cards this late in the tournament, and it looks like it's not quite over as we look down at ace-king offsuit in the big blind. We see a limp from the button, and action is back on us. We have a very strong hand, so we could make a case for min raising here, but we still have only 12 bigs, and we can't really afford to lose chips if we whiff the flop, which will happen about 2/3 of the time, and face aggression. Let's make it easy on ourselves. Let's put the pressure on our opponents. Let's shove. We go all in. Our opponent thinks for a bit, but they finally fold. Still nice to chip up and be able to keep our stack just above the 10 big blind mark. A couple of hands later, we look down at ace-king once again. We're under the gun with about 10 big blinds in our stack. I think you know where this is going. Yup, that's right. We shove, except we don't quite get it through this time. The small blind calls, and they have us covered. Obviously delighted to get a call here holding ace-king, but even more delighted when we see our opponent has ace-queen of clubs. Wow. Not only are we getting dealt great cards, but we get this perfect setup where we have our opponent severely dominated. Let's go to a showdown. The flop couldn't be better for us as it comes 7 deuce-deuce rainbow. Not much for our opponent here. The turn is a beautiful king of diamonds, which has our opponent drawing dead, and we find a huge double up, and for the first time since the early stages of the tournament, we have a decent stack and a fighting chance for first place. We don't get involved in any hands for a couple of orbits, but one player got knocked out, so we are now 3 players left in the tournament, and shortly after, the 2 other players get involved in this hand where the player at risk is holding pocket jacks and their opponent is holding king queen. I don't want to say we're rooting for jacks to bust, but we're definitely not hating the king high board. Jacks don't catch up, and we lose another player. We are now heads up, and we decided to do an ICM chop for a couple of reasons. If you've ever dealt a heads up game, it's a major pain in the ass as you're constantly shuffling and dealing, only to see one player fold pre-flop, and then you have to do it all over again. Also, our dealer was on shift to deal a major tournament the next day, and it was getting pretty late, so we decided to end the tournament right here and there. We ended up cashing for $350, on top of which we won $50 in bounties for a net profit of $400. And there you go. We ran super hot in this tournament. We got dealt a bunch of premiums. We held up when we were flipping, kind of really every tournament player's dream. We are back-to-back cashes with our performance at the game a couple of weeks ago. Let's hope to keep it going at final table. This one is going to be a 20K guaranteed. So again, there's going to be quite a bit of money up top. So definitely would love a deep run there. All right, please don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed it. Drop a comment. I respond to everyone. Hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, get me to 100 subscribers. Let's do it. And hopefully I'll see some of you guys at final table. Let's do a deep run. Let's do a good vlog. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.